Good stuff, isn't it? Yep. I'm cooking something, or no, not cooking, brewing some Keg Pod coffee and a Keurig coffee maker. Yep. And it is one of these coffee blends. Garden Isle Medium Roast by Kauai Coffee. Very good stuff. There's going to be more to talk about, so please stay tuned. This one's going to be really interesting.
Mixed company, I'll tell you, sir, with tact. I'll leave the curse words out, but here's the deal. Take this job and stick it in your, cram it up your, I don't give a, I ain't gonna work here anymore. Take this job and stick it in your ear, make it disappear. I'm so out of here, I ain't gonna work here anymore. There's so much more that I know I can be. I'm rotting here in prison and I should be free. Leaving is the best thing, sir, I guarantee. It'll be good for you, it'll be great for me. Take this job and go without your snout. It's like a maggot in my mouth, makes me wanna spit it out. I ain't gonna work here anymore. There's so much more that I know I can be. I'm rotting here in prison and I should be free. Leaving is the best thing, sir, I guarantee. It'll be good for you, it'll be great for me. Take this job and stick it in your, cram it up your, I don't give a, I ain't gonna work here anymore. Guys, I have so much fun making this.
Hi, YouTube fans. This is Matt of Post April 6th YouTube channel. Well, the reason why I played the song, the Quit Your Job song by Chris, I believe his last name is pronounced Commisso, Commisso. He's quite a guy. He really is. And the reason why, while the song was playing, that I displayed this cute little guy. Here's more of a close-up. That's the best I can do. That cat was one of two, no, actually they were twins, twin brothers. One of two cats that I had when I was just an itty-bitty, teeny-weeny little whippersnapper. You see, in that photograph, I was about roughly 3 years old. And that cat right there was either MOXY or Lightning, because that's the two names of the male cats, MOXY and Lightning. And that was a house that was built in 1959, and my father took ownership of it in February of 1970. And it was located on Santa Anita Drive, actually West Santa Anita Drive, in Inglewood, Colorado. It was near Union and South Federal. It's the little bit of Federal Boulevard that is good, because I tell you, you go any further west than Yale, you're around some pretty bad dudes. Yeah, it's a part of the Southwest Denver area, Denver metro area, city and county Denver area, more authentically than not. That is not too good. It's got this rough old school look to it. I mean, you're going up West Yale from Federal, and you're going through some houses. You're just like, paint that damned house. Go to Walmart, buy some cheap paint. Paint it white, red, blue, green, yellow, gold, whatever. What can you do? And the other reason why I mention or say or put forth a song about quit your job, because I really like what they said, and it is relevant to me. I'm going to be resigning from my job at the grocery store. The assistant store manager who handles human resources, and the other assistant manager of the store have known for some time that I've been planning on doing it. And I'm on vacation, and either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, I have to personally bring in a letter of resignation and state clearly what date I would like my last day to be. Yes. And I will be living on, and I'm not allowed to say what it is, money that I'm getting from Social Security. And I have also had a discussion with Denver Human Services about being interviewed in a couple of days for a EBT stamp food monthly allotment. Now what I will get, can't say it, because I could wind up in serious trouble for talking about that in a YouTube vlog. Yeah. And I am already starting to make plans for a budget, a monthly budget. I really cannot give all the reasons why I am resigning, but I will go ahead and say this much. One, there's a coworker who is constantly giggling after he talks. And lately, it's been getting to the point where he's talking too much. He doesn't put he doesn't have the mental discipline to concentrate on finding something to do. You know? It's not good. If I did it, I would have gotten reamed out. But he keeps getting away with it, which means that they do not have a clear agenda, management guidelines agenda, where that all the rules are equal to all employees, and it's a case where somebody is often criticized even though they're a good worker, but somebody else gets away with too much. And the guy who does all the laughing, he gets away with too much. And the other things he has done, and I think they gave him a very serious verbal warning, was instead of taking a half-hour lunch break, he takes over an hour. That's a big no-no. And he would get, it would depend on whether he was working 7 hours or 8.5 hours. When you get, because see, if it's less than, if it's between 6 and 7 hours, you only get you get two 15-minute breaks. If it's well, let me correct that. You get a half-hour lunch. If you, okay, let's say for sake of argument, someone's going to work 6.25 or 6.5 hours. They get one 15-minute break and a 30-minute lunch. If they're working 7 to 7.25 to 7.5 or 7.75 or 7.75 hours, they get two 15-minute breaks and one 30-minute lunch. And the same would go if they're working 8 hours, 8.5 hours, and anything over 8.5 hours, because of the fact that it would automatically kick in overtime. Someone's gonna, someone's gonna get paid overtime, but that hurts the bottom line of the store. The financial reserves they have for the payroll budget. The other thing that would be going on is there's a woman who is really short, and she always talks loud, and she always whines and whines and whines about, oh, I'm getting too tired. I'm glad in another round I get to go home. Oh, goodness. Try going through what I went through between April 6th of 2011 to June 24th, being confined to a hospital. You're going to like this. You're going to be running for this job, and you're going to want this job in a big, big hurry. Shortly after you get out, I mean, not immediately after you get out of the hospital, but within a month or two after you get out of the hospital. If you were me. And I really shouldn't say this one, but I'm going to go ahead and take a risk here. There's a man who looks like one of these full of himself, really self-centered, me, center of attention type African-American guys who looks like he kind of acts like a football player, or recently ex-football player. He buys a certain amount of things. He forgets one thing. He goes back and he spends a long time deciding on which eggs to buy. And then he comes back and he says, "Here's the eggs." He asked me to do something at the terminal part of self-checkout that is a big no-no, which is ringing up for him, because if the front-end manager or an assistant manager saw that, they'd chew me out. Yeah. So what I did was I was just real polite. I said, I pressed on the open logo on the monitor of the self-checkout, and I said, "Okay, here you go. You can check out right here." I mean, I just want to say to him, "Look, I'm not your personal assistant. I'm not your butler. I'm not your boy toy. I'm not." And the other thing is it would be difficult to get time off for Christmas. And I'm not going to say anything more about that because I'm worried that something bad could happen with me as far as being rehireable. Because I want to be rehireable because there's other stores out there that are run better and it's a better environment. The other thing that has constantly been going on for at least 5 years, because it's close to a light rail station. I'm not going to say which one because, you know, I don't want to wind up in trouble with the corporation, and because of the fact that it's close to I-25, a lot of homeless people come in, and there was this one guy who would come in and he'd shop around, and even though we didn't outright catch him doing it, we knew he was doing this, stealing. And he would come to the front end, and he would pay with these gift cards that were for the store that I work with. And he doesn't have enough money on the on the gift card to pay for $3 to $5 or less than $2 worth of groceries. And I'm like, you don't know how to manage your life very well at all. I mean, this was going on for over 2-3 weeks until he pretty much stopped coming in. And the girls that he would have with him, they didn't have very clean hands. I'm just like, geez. I mean, this guy was born in 1958, but he looked like he's over 80 years old. He had really white hair, and the way he hunched over like this, he looked like an old man. A lot of people suspected he was this, heroin. Yep. And maybe that wasn't the situation, but whatever it was, the guy was definitely a screwball. And there was some serious police incidents. It wasn't an armed robbery or anything like that, but several people badly misbehaved, and the police really had to take some serious actions to immobilize somebody. I'm not going to say anything more. I'm not, because I could get heavily reprimanded. I mean, not criminal charges, but heavily reprimanded by Denver police. And I can't have that happen with me. I really can't. Let me think for a minute here. Okay. And there's several customers, because I have gray hair and I'm almost as tall as this one coworker that I work with named Steve. But some people think that I'm him, and they, instead of calling me Matt, they call me Steve, and I'm just like, I'm not, you know. I correct them. I said Steve's taller than me, and you know, I point out some things. And we also get some people, they're not old, but they're in their 50s, and they don't know how to search for things on their own through product lookup or product search. They don't know how. Or what they do is they find it, and they don't realize that what they're buying is traditional produce, and it's non-organic, and they charge themselves the organic price, and then they wonder why the price is so high. I'm like, duh, learn how to read. And a lot of people, when there's a little thing taped over the area where you insert the cash, they ring things up. Oh, I didn't know that this didn't accept cash. Should I switch to another one? And I just transfer the order to a terminal and take care of it. I really get tired of it. The other thing that I plan to do after I resign, it's more than YouTube. I have an interest in working at other grocery stores. I'm also seriously contemplating filing for a employment application with AMC Theaters to be what's called a crew member. And I also may have somebody outsource some work to me to sell things on my eBay store. Yeah. And I have lots of other things that, even though I'd like to discuss them, I better not, because I may wind up taking it back and say, nope, I decided against that. I don't want to confuse people. Okay, enough about that. What? There we go. That's perfect. Why don't I talk about what's been going on most recently? Okay. Effective 11:15 p.m. after my shift ended on Saturday night, I was officially on vacation. And what I did was, on Sunday, I slept in fairly late because I was tired. And I got some laundry done on Sunday because I had a lot to do. I mean, a lot. And I mailed it. I think I put together some postcards or did some research, something else on top of that. And then what I did was I left the house, left the apartment, I left the apartment, and I walked to an area which is right where I got hit by a car and I almost got killed. And I filmed that. That was in the vlog before this particular one that I'm filming right as we speak, or right as I speak. You know what I mean. Then after I was done completing that, I walked to Whole Foods. And I didn't get much, but I got 5 strips of some good bacon that you get in the deli. That's fresh as fresh can get. And I got an apple, a nice organic apple. I don't know for sure, but I think it might have been a Honeycrisp apple. And I bought I'll be right back. I'm going to do a check really quick. Okay, I'm back now. I can't display this receipt because I'm a little worried that Whole Foods could file a motion against me, or they could really raise, in fact, I'll just say the words, really raise hell and give me a lot of SHIT. So I won't display the receipt. But I got it out, and I can explain verbatim what I got. The apple that I previously spoke about was a Gala apple, and it was 0.35 pounds. And I chewed it up and ate it just a little bit ago. It's a good apple. I mean, apples aren't my favorite, and I think one is the taste buds I developed, and as I've mentioned probably over 10 times, it's this tracheotomy treatment. I bought a little thing of 365 peppermint flavored toothpaste, because I'm running really low on toothpaste. I'm almost out of what I already had, before, and what I still have a little bit left of now. And I got some steak cut fries, the frozen ones. And I got a package of baby peeled carrots, because I've been eating that more, baby peeled carrots, because I tell you, I'm at risk for colon cancer. better discuss this one very carefully. It's for two reasons. The first thing was, you see, when you're in an induced coma, even though you're still alive, you're in such a deep sleep and your body is so relaxed. I mean, technically, even though they don't say it, you're half dead. Yes. And it's the ventilator tube they got in your mouth, and how the airflow is going through the ventilator tube, and how they have something monitoring your blood pressure, and they may have these little things hooked up to your head. It depends on the reason for the induced coma, as I was in. And I was in an induced coma for 2 to 3 weeks. And, excuse me. And then after I come out of it, well, I won't go into really graphic details about it, but I was not able to have a bowel movement until one day I really had to go, and a man took me out of these latches where where it's wrapped around this, roughly around this part of your body, and they have to do that, you see, because the fact of me being in comatose, coupled with the type of brain injury I had, and the side effects of the types of illnesses that went with the brain injury, because it was more than me suffering from subdural hematoma. I had a cerebral brain hemorrhage. Yes. So anyways, he unleashed me, and then he helped me up, and then he holds on to me a distance of, I would say, about 8 feet approximately, from the bed to the bathroom. And hell, I'll just come out and say it. I dropped a big log, because I've been stopped up so long. And ladies, I'm sorry if I offended you. Didn't mean to. I know that wasn't cute, even though it made me feel better. Okay. And then after that, I was pretty much regular after that. Now, after I got released from the hospital, it was a mandatory requirement that I, one, take 2 different hypertension medications, and I took one of them twice a day, and 2, I was taking a special low-dose aspirin that had something a little different in it, and 3, I was taking, well, come out and say it, trazodone. Me taking trazodone caused some problems, because I would be walking, and even though I knew it was not real, I would see objects far away that were very faint, kind of ghost-like, and I didn't really get freaked out about it. I was just like, oh, it's just a side effect of the brain injury. You're all right. Don't worry about it. And what also happened was this happened approximately somewhere between mid-August, and it was probably more likely, now that I really think about it, it was somewhere between late September, early October. I got this from Whole Foods at a good price. I had a spaghetti dinner with, I think it's Alexia or Alexis brand baguette garlic bread, which is the best garlic bread they make. And I felt so bloated, and I had this bad clincher feeling in the large intestine, right about here on both sides. And I had a device to give myself a high water where it holds 2 quarts, and I let it go in, and then I held it in until I couldn't hold it in no more, and oh my God, a lot is coming out of me. It was unbelievable. After the first 10 minutes, a cat I used to have that is different from the one I have now, named Penguin. Hold on. Okay, here's a good photograph of my cat Penguin. She has beautiful white fur. Okay. So, what happened after I've been on the 10 minutes? A whole lot's coming out of me. She comes in to use the litter box, and she looks up at me like this. About like that. And she started moving like this, with her front paw, with her front paws area. And I picked her up, and I petted her like this, and I kissed her head, and I petted her a little bit more, and then I very gently set her down, and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm too busy to pet you anymore." Well, I'm not ever going to show graphic photographs of this, because that's pretty gross. So much came out of me that after I flushed the toilet, everything barely went down, and I mean barely, without having to use a plunger. And then what happened is I washed my hands, and I laid on my bed, and I put a okay, I had to switch over here because my battery's getting low, and I didn't want it to all of a sudden give out. Okay, so then what I did was I got on my bed and I put a heating pad on my lower back and my butt, because I'd been on the toilet so long. And within 5 minutes, Penguin comes running in, and she's purring, and she wants to be petted, and she let me pet her for 5 minutes and rub her chin like that, and pet her head like that. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the one look she gave me, she was probably thinking something about like this: "Are you really sure you're going to be all right, Matt? I don't know. If I could talk like a person, and you had another cell phone or another landline or a landline telephone, I'd call Grandpa. I know after I called Grandpa and told him about this, he would stop what he was doing, and he'd get into his car or his truck, and he'd drive down here to Denver, even though it'd take him 2 hours. And I know that once he got to Denver, and then he got to this apartment building, and he got inside the building, he'd come knocking on the door. And you would answer the door and shake hands with him and say, 'Hi, Dad.' And then he would say, fairly seriously, 'Well, you better come with,' he'd say, 'You better come with me, Matt, because I have to take you to the emergency room and get you checked out.' And I know you wouldn't argue with Grandpa if he said that to you like he did the first time. You do what he said." It's probably what the cat was thinking verbatim. And, well, after, let's see. Okay, after about mid-December, I ran out of trazodone, and I made my mind up. I was just like, I'm not taking this anymore, and I'm not going to ask for the doctor's approval whether I should or shouldn't do it. I'm just not going to do it. And believe me, that made me feel a lot better. But quite unfortunately, even though that made me feel better, me trying to find a job in late 2012 was too difficult. And it was still a little more than a year after I got hit by a car, and my brain really got scrambled. And I was under so much stress. Even though I tried to overcome the stress and really think really hard about how to do good in a job interview, I blew it. And I wound up going to go live with my father. And I wound up living with him for 3.5 years until I saved up enough money to move back here. And I tell you, I'd rather pay an arm and a leg for rent and live out here than live back there again, because that town is dirty and there's too much, there's been too many years of economic blight, or urban blight, and too many economic woes, and a lot of those people are downtrodden. And you know, it's not all the fact that there's just not that many jobs. A lot of people just don't want to work. They want too much independence. It's not a way to hold down a job. You know, my job, when so-and-so, regardless of whatever manager it is, when they ask me to do something, I just go and do it. I do what the hell they tell me to do. I don't argue with them about it. So that's, you know, I make sure to eat those carrots regularly so I don't get, really stopped up. And then if I have that going on too much, like I've already said before, I could probably get colon cancer. The other thing I do is I stay away from McDonald's, Arby's, Wendy's, and let me think a minute here. Oh yeah, Taco Bell. Ugh. That food tastes like crap. I mean, the beef tacos taste like horse meat. Some people actually think it's horse meat. It's gross, man. Whew. Sorry, I had to do that to get that possible taste out of my mouth. Well, I've already talked for about 39 minutes. And I have some other things to do. And it's time for me to go. Let me do one more thing. Let me show one more thing really quick before I go. Okay, if anybody would like to send me a donation, a gift card, or a double extra large or a 2X t-shirt, you can send it to this address. And for some people who have vision problems, it's post April 6th, P.O. Box 371943, Denver, Colorado 80237. No, 80237. Let me say that again. Post April 6th, P.O. Box 371943, Denver, Colorado 80237. Thank you, everybody. And sorry if some of those things were graphic, and goodbye.